Hey, what's up guys? I'm back with another video. This time it is going to be my build for Khora Prime with my build for Venari Prime. I know a few of you have been waiting for this one, so I've been trying to get it as fast as I can, but I've been trying to kind of tweak things, make sure I had it as good as I could for at least a Pilfering Khora build. There is another build I'm working on that I have not fully figured out yet, but that one does have to do with the WIP. So hopefully I can get that figured out and get you guys another build that does good damage and is pretty fun. But for now, let's focus on the Pilfering Khora. So right now, like I said, this is a Pilfering Khora build. It did take me 4 Forma, but one is an Aura Forma, basically so that I could make the other build as well. You do not have to do the Aura Forma. If you're good with Physique, use Physique. There are other options for the aura. You could go growing power, which honestly, this isn't super about doing damage with your abilities, but it's not terrible. I wouldn't use this. If I were to use anything else, it would be corrosive projection. But you can absolutely just use Physique and be just fine. As you see, that's what I'm using. I think corrosive projection would work very well as well. Power drift, I did change this slot. It was a dash polarity, but coaction drift is really the only option I had for that, and it's not that great. It's not bad. So like, if you don't want to change it, don't change it. But I felt power drift was just a little bit better. It gives a little bit of strength, which we really don't need, but a little bit of extra damage never hurts, and I feel like it was more useful than having, well, I guess just more health, which I looked at it and it's only like 30 something more health. It's not much. So I just felt like power drift was just a little bit better. But you could really even get away with not using this slot at all if you wanted. That's up to you. Next, I use Umbral Fiber because basically we want to survive, we want to have duration, and we want to have range. The way I see it is the longer we're alive, the more often we can have our dome up, our strangledome. The more often we can have our Spectra Rage up, because we do helmet away Venari's ability for Spectra Rage. By getting rid of Venari's ability, we still have Venari, but it's taking away what is basically a useless ability and giving us one that gives us constant energy if we have Spectra Siphon. Spectra Siphon is almost required with this build because you'll be putting up your strangledome about every 30-ish seconds, I think. Doesn't last super long, but you need energy pretty much constantly. So if you have strangledome and Spectra Rage up, you'll be getting energy constantly because of Spectra Siphon. So Spectra Siphon, just so you know what it does, this is, first off, Spectra Rage is Gara's ability. So if you haven't gotten that, there are other things you could do. You could maybe use Equilibrium, which is another kind of energy giver, but it's not the best. If you have Protea's Helminth, the dispenser, that one's not bad either. That one's actually pretty good. If you can think of something else, give it a shot and let me know if it worked for you. But so far, from what I've found, from what most people have found, it seems, is Spectra Rage works the best for energy giving on Khora. But the augment, enemies that die within Spectra Rage have a 50% chance to drop an energy orb. This happens a lot more than you would think. It happens a lot. So if you're going to go with the exact build, you'll need this. You'll need Gara's ability, Spectra Rage, be able to use this, and it's honestly a really good build, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it, even if it's kind of just to set everything up and kill things. Like that's really what it is, but it's still it's still fun to me for some reason. I can't explain why. You'll just have to use it yourself and kind of figure out if you even like it. You may not like it. So anyways, we use Augur Reach because it gives us range. The second part of it, 40% energy spent on abilities that's converted to shields, is just a bonus. Like, yeah, that's cool, but we don't need that. We're doing this for the range. Then we have Prime Continuity, plus 55% ability duration. We do need duration. We don't need a ton of duration, because if we only have to put up the Strangledome and the Spectral Rage every 30 seconds, that's not bad. So we use Continuity to get that 55% duration. Aside from that, we don't use any other duration mods. Overextended is used, plus 90% ability range, minus 60% ability strength. Like I said, strength is not necessary, range is. If you want to change this, you can, but I feel like you're going to kind of gimp yourself a little bit. You might not be as successful with this one. Your Strangledome will still do its job, but it won't be as big of a range. It won't be pulling things from an even bigger range. So you gotta kind of figure out what works for you, but I feel overextended is the best option. There are other things, like I said, if you're not really liking getting rid of the strength, okay, that's fine. You're gonna lose 90% ability range, but you can grab something like Umbral Intensify. Oh, obviously, if you've modded this slot, you can't do that, but it's up to you. You kind of have to figure out what's gonna work for you. And I think this polarity actually even just comes standard on Khora, so you would actually have to get rid of it or just use something else. There's other things you could do that could, give you more armor or give you more duration, but you lose some range. There's things you can do. You're gonna have to figure it out on your own, really, because I think range is too crucial to this build. If you're looking for more survivability, adaptation's good. If you're looking for more duration and you're willing to lose even more range, then Narrowmind is not bad. I do not suggest that, though. Just gonna say that now. I don't suggest that at all. Rolling Guard is good if you're really having trouble surviving. But aside from that, Overextended is my number one choice here. Then we go with Stretch, plus 45% ability range. Again, range is like everything to us, so that's why we use this. You could lose this mod if you wanted, but I don't know what you'd be changing it to. Maybe more duration with Constitution, or maybe more energy with Flow, I guess. I wouldn't do that either. Maybe you feel like you're not efficient enough. I guess you could do Streamline. Really, I would say just keep the range mods. Don't try to change them. Just keep them. Next is Umbral Vitality. This is for more survivability. We already have Umbral Fiber, so we have Umbral Vitality as well. If you wanted, you could change Umbral Fiber to Umbral Intensify, which would bring you to 105% strength instead of 55%. If you feel like you're having no problem surviving, take off Umbral Fiber, put on Umbral Intensify. It's up to you. I think both would work equally well. It just depends on your playstyle. Fiber if you're needing survivability, Intensify if you just want more damage ticks or higher damage ticks from your Strangledome. So you pick, up to you completely, but I think survivability is just a good thing to have with Khora, especially considering your whole job is to make sure everyone's getting more loot with this build. And then the last is Pilfering Strangledome. It's an augment for the Strangledome that is required in this build. I do not think you should put anything else, because this is the whole reason for this build. Enemies held in Strangledome have a 65% chance of dropping additional loot. This is the whole reason for this build, so do not take it out. If you want to create a different build, go for it. But right now, the build that you are looking at is for this augment. Now, as for the Arcanes, I use Arcane Guardian. You don't need to. You could use something else, like say Grace or I guess Precision. You can use whatever else you want. I just use Guardian because it's one of the few I have actually at 5. Arcane Fury, I use this for my melee weapons. Again, you don't need to use this. Use whatever you want. But I use this just for those times I feel like running around meleeing. I'll give you a quick glimpse at the build that I'm working on. It's this here. It still needs quite a bit of work, but it's turning into something. So yeah, accumulating whipclaw is required with this build. So we'll see what happens with it, but hopefully I'll be able to get a video out for that build when I get it fleshed out. For now, this is the focus, the Pilfering build. It will save you a lot of time just getting those resources. You'll have a lot of fun with it, and you'll be an asset to any team. So now, moving on, I use Ignis Wraith. It's just easy to kind of hit things in the chains if you don't want to use your whip. Compressa, I just like the weapon. It's just a fun weapon. Ghoul Saw, again, I just like the weapon. It's a lot of fun. You could change this to something else. You could change this to something else, and you could change this to something else. Use whatever you like. These are just what I use. And then Venari. So for Venari, I am missing one mod. I don't actually have it, but I do want to put the heat version of Venom Teeth. I don't know what it's called. When I eventually get it, I'm going to replace Tech Assault with that. So right now we have Hunter Recovery, plus 30% Companion Lifesteal Link. And the second part is plus 25% Companion damage on enemies affected by Slash. Hunter Recovery is not bad. It's pretty good. Prime Pack Leader. Mine's only at level 7. So I still have 3 ranks I gotta get on it. So you will probably end up having to form of the last 2 slots here. To make it, maxed. So right now I'm at 6. I should be at 5. I actually messed up on one polarity, so it's my mistake. So this is actually right now what you're looking at is a 5 form of build, but if you want to get more things maxed, you're going to have to form of the rest of it. So it would be about a 7 form of build overall. Prime Pack Leader, if you don't know, which I'd be amazed at this point if there's someone who doesn't know what Pack Leader does, heals your pet by a percentage of the damage you deal with melee attacks, plus 48% lifesteal link. It's like a staple on every pet. I don't think there's any pet that doesn't take this. It's just too good. Link Health, it just gives Venari more health, 150% more health, which I think it's actually even more because I don't have this one maxed either. It's at 9. Metal Fiber, plus 110% armor. It's just more survivability, keep Venari alive. And then we go to the damage, which is Bite, plus 330% critical chance, plus 220% critical damage. Now, you could change things out for this. I'm just going for full damage. Venari having more crit is not a bad thing. It really isn't. It's actually very useful. Venari's not going to do insane damage as is. So if you just want to go, full keep her alive, then go for it. But the reason I'm doing damage is because Venari's there. If she dies, she dies. But she's just kind of there. Like you're not really like needing her to survive. So have her do as much damage as she can as long as she's alive. And with this build, she really shouldn't die. She really shouldn't. So go for some damage. It's more fun. It's more interesting. This is why I do it this way. And then Shock Collar. Plus 60% electricity, plus 60% status chance. You don't need it. I wanted corrosive on my Venari, so I have Shock Collar and Venom Teeth. Venom Teeth is plus 60% toxin, plus 60% status chance. So I wanted corrosive. I want her stripping the armor of the enemy. So that's why I do that. You could switch to something else. If you have a better option, go for it. I don't know the exact options. Maybe you could try Tech Enhance just for fun, but I don't think that's very good on Venari. Maybe Hunter Synergy, Critical Chance Link. It's not bad, but I still wouldn't use it over something else. You can maybe use it over Tech Assault, so like, you could do that instead. That way Venari is always critting. So it's up to you. You could use Tech Assault or Hunter Synergy. I think both work fine. Tech Assault is just for Venari to stay alive more and to create that zone that inflicts a bit of damage every second to enemies. Now Hunter Synergy is to do more crits. I don't feel you necessarily need it with Bite, because 86% chance to crit is already really good. But you choose. Pick what you like, pick what you think is best, and let me know what you found if you kind of tried both of them. If you think one is better than the other after trying them, let me know. Because personally, I'd like to know if you find it better. If you don't, I always like to get feedback on my builds. Next is Maul. Right now, mine is only rank 7, so it's at plus 240% melee damage. It's just more damage. All it does, so let me show you. So all Maul does is adds to our status. So it gives you more slash, gives you more corrosive, and just gives you more total. So Maul is not bad with this build. It is really good, actually. So my suggestion, keep that if you're trying to keep some damage. Next is Venom Teeth. I already told you what that did. Again, this is just for corrosive. It gets more damage going. It gives us more damage, everything, because it's stripping armor. Then we have Sharpened Claws. A vicious attack dealing 300% damage to that Sunder's armor by 120% and rends flesh. Sharpened Claws is just a good attack for Venari, and it's worth using. Simple as that. You could use something else if you want. Again, I'm not saying you have to do it this way, because you don't. But these are just the things I found work. I think Pounce actually works okay on Venari. You could try that. You could try Tech Enhance, I guess, if you wanted, but I don't think it would fit right now. You would have to Forma at that point. And then for the last, like I said, is either Tech Assault or Hunter Synergy, I would say. I would keep Tech Assault just because, again, it keeps her alive more and it gives us a little bit more damage with that zone that it creates. It's not necessary. So if you have the fire mod I was talking about earlier, use that. Use that. It's better. But I don't have it. So assuming you guys don't have it either, this is Tech Assault. I think it's the next best thing for right now. So Kavat has 60% chance to ignore lethal damage and be immune for 4 seconds. Mark a 6-meter zone every 45 seconds that inflicts 100 damage a second to enemies. It's just more survival and a slight amount more damage. You can absolutely take this out, especially if you have the fire version of Venom Teeth or Shot Caller. Just based on what you have will change the build a little bit. But if you have the fire version, use it. The heat version, I guess. It's heat, whatever. Use that. Don't use Tech Assault in that case. But if you don't, just use Tech Assault or use Hunter Synergy. They both work. But if you have the heat version, use it. So that is the build for Venari. That is the build for Khora. Now I'm just going to show you. Basically, we're not going to do a ton of damage with our strangledome, but to give you an idea, we use our 4, we use our Spectra Siphon or Spectra Rage, and basically enemies in this that die in this have a chance to give energy. And as you saw, I just got energy. It's a pretty good chance. So I'm not doing a lot of damage though. keep that in mind. Like, this is not a lot of damage. You can use your whip to do some damage. This is not meant to do a ton of damage. This is meant to basically be supporting the team by giving more resources. That's what this build's for. If you want damage, you'll have to wait for my other build. But those are the builds, guys. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button. As always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.